What do you think of Trump and what he's been doing in the first, in the honeymoon phase of his presidency?
Man, it just feels bad. It feels bad, literally. Like I was saying, it's more like the divided states of America in a sense, because that's what we realize.
Yeah, I mean, there's actually a big petition for California to secede from the United States. I think it's gotten like hundreds of thousands of votes. Is that bad? I mean, it's not going to happen, but
What
I'm
do you
saying.
think about it? I just think it's so toxic that all I can feel is bad. I actually am at a place now where I feel like ignoring it, but you can't. You have to be active, but I'm so sick of the power he's been given. I can't believe how many pussy-ass politicians there are who just let anybody do what they want.
Yeah.
And this guy, Barack Obama, had to throw, he didn't have to do it. I wish he wouldn't have done it. But he threw Reverend Wright. Remember he threw Reverend Wright under the bus?
Right.
Because the guy said, not God bless America, but God damn America, and they cut that and looped that and they took it out the context of the speech and all that. Well, this guy gets in there and literally does whatever and says and whatever the fuck he wants, and he has the most power of any president. Now check that out. Seemed like a pretty bad place to me. Now here's what you do, Vlad. Here's what people are gonna do, more so than ever. Start counting their money and separating themselves from whatever you're talking about as American values. I'm in the 1%, so
Yeah.
I can sit back and be like, I can't afford to do it because, like I said, my culture is, I'm there. I'm the cultural person. I don't feel like I can afford to look away in a sense, but I feel like it, bro, because it's so fucking messy.
Yeah.
And I feel like I feel like everyone is just idling.
Well, I mean,
percolating.
I can't tell you something, because, running my website, I see what reacts and what doesn't. And up until now, politics never really reacted with my audience. And I have a mostly African-American, 18 to 35 audience. But now, when we put up stuff about Trump and what he's doing, it's a huge reaction every time. And I feel like, people realized that they fucked up by allowing, by.
You think?
Well, I think.
Who are the people? The basket of deplorables? Because.
Well, I don't know. I mean, because me and Scarface got into a long talk.
Oh, okay.
The other day about this, and he said, black people didn't have a dog in the fight when it came to the election because the Clintons put more black people in prison than any other president.
That's a good point.
So there was a certain level of, I'm not going to vote. I'm not. Fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like, lesser two evils. I will just sit out this race, which allowed Trump to come in and just sweep everything up. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's confounded anyway. I mean, he didn't even win the popular vote.
Yeah.
It's such a mess, Vlad. It's such a tremendous mess that all we can do is talk about it from a real far place. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going to happen. I'm very disappointed about who he's putting around him.
Yeah.
He's bad enough, but to put worse people around him who really don't have, and there's a war on women too. Like, yeah, you can say black people and Mexicans and walls and all that, Muslim problems, but the women too, man. Like, they're getting rid of the abortion and they're telling women they can't have their bodies and it's a scary. To me, it's the scariest it's ever been. This country is the scariest it's ever been in my lifetime because it feels like we're butting into maybe a bit of a civil war-like issue, like civility as at risk. Police are more militant than ever. I never felt the way I feel now about the blue, Blue Lives Matter, right? So I never felt, think about that now, Vlad. He said he's the law and order, right, president. Today he had this little pandering thing with these black people. He had Omarosa, it was on TV Live.
Yeah.
And he had Ben Carson, Omarosa, and these other black people who don't belong to my culture, really. I don't know where they come from. But pat Ben Carson on the back and let him be responsible for HUD, which is black people,
right.
brown people, poor people. Section 8 people.
Yeah, and this is someone who
Was a doctor. He has no notion of
Right.
how to govern anything.
And
none
he said he
whatsoever.
doesn't believe that there's racism. He, feels that poor people is their own fault and stuff like that.
Listen, the best thing about Trump is that it's 4-year to 8-year gig. The mistakes he's doing now make it difficult for it to be an 8-year gig. The more he does things that people are so adverse to, it'd be difficult. The Democrats, they suck. Like Scarface said, they suck ass. All of that political shit, they all suck because they have personal agendas and they're acting like they're here for American people, and there's none of that. Really, they have personal agendas. Everyone's a billionaire in the cabinet. Can we be?
Yeah. And he's actually, we ran a story about this. He's the most unpopular president of all time in a record 8 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sad, man. It's sad.
Wow.
I'm hoping he gets impeached at some point. I'm hoping that he pushes the line so far that he crosses it to the point where
He might, but he's so ballsy and so powerful. Why would they want to give that much power to an individual people are scared to even say they don't like him.
Yeah.
Like I've never been in a situation like this before where
because this is the pettiest person
petty
who's ever been in this position.
If I could say something about him and he might tweet it about it.
Right. He's in terms of Twitter fingers, Meek Mill ain't got nothing on
Man,
Donald
he got
Trump.
Twitter fingers. Man, Twitter fingers. Word.
Yeah, man.
Needless to say, I'm not a supporter of Donald Trump. I wasn't into Hillary Clinton. I like Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
I still think that if he's in good health, in 4 years, we might see him again.
Hopefully.
I don't like the Democratic Party or the Republican Party or any of the parties. They're like gangs. You pick a gang or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I'm not none of those gangs. They're not my gangs. But I will say that the Democratic Party is very disappointing because they proved to be, eunuchs? Baldless, dickless things walking around in suits.
Because they're so focused on re-election.
Yeah, focus on
it.
re-elections and also catering to their corporate interests. So when they're not focused on re-election, because they need to get re-elected so they can keep that corporate interest with a home.
Right, well,
so,
and keep the money coming so they can get re-elected because it's expensive to get re-elected.
Congress people work 6 months out of the year. They work 4 days a week. They make $160,000 a year, Congress people. That's what they make from their pay. They work 6 months, okay? They get every Friday off. They work part-time. It's part-time work, essentially. They make $160,000, which ain't a lot of money. So now you come and offer, if you work for a company that's toxic food or whatever, or a drug that you need passed before it's legitimate.
Yes.
It's got a million side effects. I'll just tell the world about the side effects. Can
Right.
you get this on the market? Okay, I'll get it on the market. What you got for me? Well, you making $160,000 a year. Let me give you 500 stacks.
Yeah.
It's a done deal.
Right. On top of it, and this was covered on 60 Minutes. It was considered totally legal. So let's just say there's a bill that's coming up, and you know that this bill will have an effect on a certain stock, right? Once this passes, this stock is going to go up or go down. You're allowed to buy or sell that stock before that bill passes. 60 Minutes did a special about it. They changed the rules, but they still allow the family members to do this, even though the actual politicians themselves can't do it. It was one of those things. So the amount of money a real politician makes has nothing to do with their salary. There are so many other streams of income that they make.
Oh, it's insane.
This is why people become career politicians. And if you look at the founding fathers, this is why you have the 6 months out of the year, the Fridays off. They never intended politicians to be full-time jobs. These are supposed to be citizens who have other jobs. They're not supposed to be lifetime politicians.
Fail.
Clearly it didn't
Fail.
work out. Yeah.